Hello, dear celestial viewers. How are we today? Thank you for being in here with me again. Thank you for trusting me at this point, right? Because we have been here for some time by now, and maybe we're getting intimate right now. um, Today, I brought to us a discussion that is very daily, unusual still, and to bring by hope and a path, a line of path. Not the correct path, not the best path. It's a path, okay? I do like this path, even though I do find it a little hard to follow it all the time because I think I've already spoke about this in here before. I'm very airy. I'm very thinking type of person. This is natural to me to process my processes through thinking, right? And then I discovered some years ago, about 10 to 11 years ago, that we have other way through processing information. In order to talk to you about this, I want to share with you my screen to show you an image because this image will help us. Okay, where is it? This is what I'm looking for. Okay. Okay, now you can see my screen. You can see this image, okay? This image is very meaningful, and I'm going to tell you why. This image is you. Greet yourself. This is you, okay? Besides the body that carries you, which is our vehicle to be around Earth, you are someone a lot bigger than you think. Bigger, 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 bigger. And this image, the toroidal energy of humankind, is something that we co create collectively, which are the great lines around Earth. And it's something we also create individually, which each person individually has one of this around itself. Why is this image important? Now, let's talk about intuition and you will see what I mean. Have you ever known something that you don't know why you know, but then you just know? And for some reason, you stuck to that feeling that you knew that something and you went for it with the way you were sensing it, and it totally worked out. That is intuition. Intuition is this process in which someone, for some reason, gather an information that leads her to understand and know something, her or him, a person, because person in Portuguese is a female word, but okay. It leads the person to know something without understanding why him or her got the information, he or she got the information. And in knowing how, in not doubting what they have been informed of, they just go with it and go until the end and figure out that this was true and that this was right. Now, there is a line of thought into science world that actually tells that intuition comes from our past experiences. Some might even be that, but not for real, because intuition comes first. How is the best way to give an example about this? Let me think. Okay. While things are going on, the things that are going on, they spread their energy. For example, if you're going to travel, the energy of travel will be in the air, because the event, oh my god, this is not that easy to talk about, right? Okay. Because the event about to happen, it starts, not that it starts, it has some sort of toroidal energy throughout time. So when something is going to happen in the future, the energy of that happening is actually shown from some time before it happens for real. And in that event, the energy arriving towards your energy touches this part here in the corner of the edges of your energetical toroidal, human toroidal. And when they touch each other energy, for some reason, you know that you're going to travel, or for some reason, you know you're going to have a baby, or for some reason, you know you're going to make a success, or for anyway, whatever is the purpose, okay? For some reason, you know, and that is the responsible part of you that does that. Okay, so you have all this energy getting out of you, coming back to you the whole time. It gets out of your head, comes back through your feet, is really strong in your stomach. And here in the edges, okay, it's very big outside of you, but because I want it to appear in the image, I'm gonna use my hands closer, okay? So this. Um because yes, this is a good distance. Okay, that's good. Okay. Now because you have all this energy around you, and that is also you, one of your seven bodies, part of you is here capturing information that starts arriving for you from this place or from this place or from this place and everything else until it reaches you. And part of that even touches beneath the surface. It doesn't necessarily go like straight ahead to your feet. No, it's circling around your feet to get back into it. And in doing this movement, let's suppose your feet is here. This is your feet, and the energy will go do this. And because the energy comes from below and your feet is here on earth, you also are gathering information from beneath the earth. I hope that my hands got to make that explainable. And that is good because you are this device. You are this magical device that has a lot of, oh my god, and I have been learning so much about it. It has so much to tell you, to teach you, to gossip for you. And even the good part that I always mention here is that this part of us has no physical limitations. It's not geographically limited, it's not limited by time, it's not limited by anything. This is a free energy as much as thoughts and emotions. They're free. And because of that, it is like an antenna, a radar. Antenna, does that exist in English? I think it does, honey. Trans. Let's call it in here English. And okay, antenna. Yeah, antenna. Yeah, antenna. That's it. So it's working for you like an antenna, a radar of other energies. And why do I say that it doesn't necessarily mean that it is connected to? Here I go again, stuck in my hair because it makes me more concentrated. That's me. Okay. And the thing is, why do I know that this is not related to the past? Even can be from past lives, right? But not, I mean, not really the past in this life. It could be, but not necessarily. Okay. In order to explain you that, I'm going to tell you a story of a past event. Okay. Now, when I was a kid, something happened with my family. While that was happening to my family, I had a dream, a weird dream. And I kept that dream. I remember that, okay, no, that happened to my family, and this was the dream before that. A long time ago, almost now in my history, a little time ago, the same thing was about to happen to my family again. And right like 2 years before that, I sensed it with the same dream. Now, the interesting part of this is that I knew that the same experience was about to happen because I had already had that dream from my past as an experience. So, this actually made me realize that it came from a past experience because the dream repeated itself. But the interesting thing that I tell you that this is not related to the past is because in this point, in the second dream happened 2 weeks before the event happening again. And the interesting part is, I did use past experience to understand what was the value of this dreaming. And I used the previous experience from the previous dream to understand that the event was about to happen again, but I didn't know when it was going to happen. I just knew that the event was arriving. And 2 weeks after the second dream, the event happened again. So yes, there was a little bit of experience from the past, but it was related to a future experience that I didn't have a way to be warned about the fact that this was going to happen. We lost you on the live, it seems. Oh my god, why does it happen? Restart it. Okay, now I'm back. Okay, nice to know. So, Uh, okay, and this intuition process, it's really like this, but it doesn't have to be based on the past because you don't need to have lived the past experience in order for this material, this device on you work. Okay, in 2018, I was about to leave a travel, and my energy field captured the information that I was going to travel. And I didn't know I was going to travel, but the information came and it felt really real. And I understood the level of feeling real was telling me that it was going to be real. And 4 days later, I was invited for the travel that I was being told about. And the good thing about intuition is, okay, now if you read James Redfield, what is the name of his book in English? Prophecia Celestina, a Celestial Prophecy. What would be the name of James Redfield's book? James Redfield's Celestine Prophecies, maybe. What is the name? Celestine Prophecies. Yes. Now, if you read Celestine Prophecies from James Redfield, maybe you already know a lot about how intuition works. And that book is top notch about it. It's explaining the whole process of intuiting. And how scary that can also be because when you choose to go from intuition, the path can be so unexpected. Now, this is interesting because unexpected things and surprising things, I do like them, but I also like knowing things. So I get this internal war inside of myself in which I do love the unknown paths, but I do like to feel secured as well. So it seems a little confusing to me. And just let me check. Am I on yet? Am I on yet? And it leads you to understand things that you don't know. So I met this Russian girl in Peru and we spoke and she was like, for some reason I was in my house in Russia and out of nowhere I felt like I needed to come to Peru when I was looking for houses to buy and something made me feel upset and walk around the neighborhoods And out of nowhere, I passed through a place. This was her telling me her story. I passed through a place and something stopped me. And I got physically stopped and I looked my left. And I looked at a house, and for some reason, that house made my heart beat. And I knew that that was my house. And I got the house. I just got the house. And she knew, she felt, she looked at the house, she combined her energy with the house energy. They both matched. I don't know the past of match, I'm sorry. And both matched. And she knew that this was her house. And she just followed that flow. She just went with that inner flow inside of her that was telling her, "Hey, just go walk into the neighborhood while you were upset. Just go to Peru." Just something kept bringing her ideas on what she was needing to leave, and she was literally called because there was this feeling inside of her telling her, "Hey, go walk through the neighborhoods to clarify your thoughts." And something inspired her to stop and look left, and there was her house. This is precisely intuition, okay? This is how it works. When you are in tune with it, you make things naturally flow correctly. Now, the tricky part is the correct part of it, because the idea on the thing of the intuition is that it is a feeling of certainty that sometimes makes no sense at all. In James Redfield's book, the guy was looking for a path to know somewhere in which he wanted to have a transcendental experience. In Aikido's precisely the same place where I had my transcendental experience, the travel I was telling to you about in 2018. Now, in the book, while the guy is looking for the path from his intuition, he started receiving in his mind that he was going to jail. Oh my God. So this can happen. Calm down. This is not necessarily going to happen to you, but yes, it can take you to super weird places. And in that case, the guy from the story in James Redfield's book, he did end up in jail, but in that process, that was a good thing for him, because when he ended up in jail, he met someone that he needed to meet in order to continue the path that he was looking for, using his intuition to guide him through that. So, yes, intuition can lead you to very tricky places that it's going sometimes to make you feel like, oh my God, this seems so wrong. And then we go to another part of this discussion, which is our thinking processes. Okay, our thoughts, they are linear processing. Okay, and when we think, when we ponder about an idea, we use logic. So this leads to that, and this makes sense in here, it doesn't make sense in there, and it maybe will lead me here. I'm not so sure that leads here because this doesn't make so much sense. It could happen, but with a lot of luck. And well, thinking is this process of testing. Okay, does this make sense? Oh yes, in here makes sense. Oh, in here doesn't make sense. So it's analyzing. It's it's a very long process. Thinking about things, it's important, and I know that, and it's interesting and very intelligent to keep under logics. But let me tell you the trick part about these both words. Intuition and thinking, they're kind of opposite. The process that turns one off, the process that turns the thinking process on, turns off the intuition. And the process that turns on the intuition turns off the thinking process. And the interesting part about that is now society really has taught us that we do have to ponder things. We have to think things through. We have to think things over. And that is not a lie. This really is helpful, okay? But some things in your life that you have to live, they will bring you signs. And those signs, sometimes they won't meet up with logic, but they bring sometimes very clear signs. Let me give you another example. I was with a boyfriend many years ago, around 2015, and there was this festival, and the name of the festival was Festival of Love. And for some reason, he was friend with this girl, and for some reason, ding 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 ding, it kept to my attention that he chose to go to the Festival of Love, and his first invitation was that girl. The interesting part about that is that I knew right at the moment that he invited the girl that he was going to betray me with her. Of course, I got really upset. Who likes the news of a betrayal, right? Everyone hates it. But it just worked for me as a sign. Hey, pay attention to this. The guy that you're seeing is going to the festival of love with someone else. What do you think that that means? Think about the name of the festival. And that came to me as a sign. So I knew that things were going to separate our ways in life. And this is what I'm talking to you about signs. The sign was there and I got to pay attention for it. While we are living, the signs are spread everywhere. The signs are spread everywhere. And sometimes you're just not really realizing it, but they're there. And while you're not paying attention to them, you're going to start process things through thinking. And this logic is built in society's perspective. Now, the interesting part about that is sometimes we have already been wrong on our opinions. Now, if you're close to 30s, maybe 28s, you already know that once in your life you have already had an opinion that was wrong. And do you know the interesting part about that opinion being wrong is that even though that opinion was wrong, you really processed it through thinking. So, are you telling me that even though sometimes we think a lot about things, we can still be wrong? Yes. Mm-hmm. Have you ever made a mistake that you really processed in your thinking and to your logical that really made sense at that point, but then like 2 to 3 months later, you think with yourself and you just realize, oh my God, that felt so right there in the moment, but now I can see it was so mistaken. That fight I had with my friend, that was I was so feeling full of reason and I was so full of myself because I knew and I had the opinion and I threw the opinion and I was feeling super right. Oh my God, I was being actually so rude. That was so wrong. Okay, so this is what I want you to understand. Sometimes, even if we think a lot, we think a lot, a lot, a lot, a lot, a lot, we still could be wrong. And that was very interesting. One of my friends, she was talking to me how she liked the guy, and she liked that guy, and the guy seemed to be giving her some space in order, in the meaning of he seemed to be interested in her. And then, for some reason, she chose to park her car to send him a text message. And usually the guy was answering her back really fast. But at that point that she chose to stop the car, hey, cat, shh, cat, stop it. And at that point that she chose to stop the car, she sent him a text message. And for some reason, he didn't answer. And she was telling me this story. And she was like, oh, can you believe that he didn't answer? What happened out of nowhere? Out of nowhere, he just stops answering me. And you think I'm going to keep dealing with that and keep playing games with him like push and pull kind of game? I'm not going to do that. I'm going to stop playing with him. And she was really overthinking it, and I just gave her a second opinion saying like this, hey, amiga, friendy, have you ever stopped to consider that maybe while you were texting him, maybe he could be in the shower, far away from his cell phone. He could be in a meeting, in his work. He could be stuck in traffic driving. Um, and when I just told her that, she was like, oh my God, I could have been wrong. And I Since then, I stopped talking to the guy, but you were totally right. He could have been caught up in so many situations. Why my mind was so closed. And that happens. Sometimes our minds, we are so tuned into an idea that we want to reach that we only focus in that little teeny tiny piece of idea, and we don't see a whole lot of situations surrounding so many possibilities around it. In the magical path, in the spiritual path, you always say that there are at least three versions. You have a my version, you have a you version, you have a third invisible version, which is normally related to the truth. But you don't have that. For example, if you are with the question in your mind, how can I make money? Oh my God, you have at least a zillion possibilities for that. You can open companies, you can be an employee, you can make art, you can whatever. Okay. The range of possibilities is infinite. But when we process things through our thinking, we try to stick to a main focused idea in which we have been fixed upon. And what I wanted to tell you about in this subject is you don't need to stop pondering things, but please look when you have a calling, okay? A calling is something that calls you from your feelings. Something like, oh my God, I feel so sad that I'm working with this and not with that. I feel so sad. Okay, this is you calling yourself to go live another reality. Wake up with yourself. Sometimes you can be with yourself inside of so many feelings, and those feelings are telling you the reality that you want and the reality you don't want. So when you try to connect with the reality you want, try to combine and understand what are you feeling about that energy that you want to live. What is the feeling that it brings you? Oh, it's almost like this. Oh, if I live that, I'm going to feel thrilled, and I'm going to feel like I'm belonging, and I'm going to feel like I'm in my house, and I'm in here, and I have everything to do with that reality. Okay, do you feel the energy that is in your body when you think about that happy thing that makes you super happy and thrilled? How does your body feel? How does your body feel? Does it feel amazed? Does it feel amusing? Does it feel super excited, super agitated, super ready to live anything and conquer everything and face any challenges? Okay, that version is the force inside of you, the power, the inner power you have to reach that place. And the most bigger, stronger it gets, the more you are getting in tune with that feeling. Okay, and how does that make you feel? Very joyful. Okay, so you have the first tip that the world is giving you. So when you find the path of happiness for you, you feel joyful. So go gather more joyful experiences. The match between you and that happy feeling is the tip for you. The roadmap is the joyful moment you give to yourself. For it's not for no reason that Bashar and Abraham Hicks are telling about this the whole time. Go through the path of least resistance, which is the path of your desires, your passions. In tarot, there is this card that says what leads us through success in life, it starts in our desires and in our passions. And sometimes you get so in tune with a passion that you don't see anything else surrounding it. You just go with it and you flow with it. And what I want to put here for you is like this: it's not a problem to ponder, but remember that sometimes you pondered and it led you to make mistakes anyway. So it is not bad. You can ponder. Sometimes you're going to feel like this is necessary for you to process something, but actually, if you want to find an experience and you don't know how to get there, go to the calling you have on those feelings you have. So if you are looking for something that is a path that for you feels really blessed, but it looks like something that is very serious, then you're going to look for seriousness. If you're going to a path that leads you to passion, follow the path of passions. If you want a path that looks like to you like very outstanding in the world with a lot of people participating, be surrounding yourself from people, because you will understand why does that feeling has this idea of a lot of people, and why when you are surrounded by people that makes so much sense, and that is going to give you feelings. So what I want to protect you from actually is, sometimes you have a calling, and that calling is telling you, hey, you want to leave that, you want to leave that. Do you know you want to leave that? Yes, I love that experience, I do want to leave that, and I have a calling for it. But then society will start, oh, but that feels wrong, because of this and because of that. But do you think you're gonna quit your job? You wanna get out of your security status? You wanna get out of stability? And yes, guys, think about this, please. Stability and security will always hold you back to the same you have been living so far with it. If you want something new, the path has to be innovative. The path has to feel like new, it has to feel like unknown. And you are receiving a calling that is telling you, hey, you want to leave that experience, just go. But the world is trying to pull so much fear on you, and so much you going against what you're feeling. Remember, please, that only you has the map, the roadmap to your happiness, and that roadmap calls from your heart. That roadmap is inside of you, and only you can know how to run that path. So don't keep thinking, and don't keep asking other people's opinions. And why do I tell you don't keep thinking? Just go with your feeling. Because if you keep thinking, you will think the way that society taught you to think, which is related to search for security and stability, that will keep you to the same old same you know so if you have a calling, please stick to your feeling. Don't forget that feeling. That feeling is there for a reason. That feeling is you talking to yourself to tell you the tips that it needs to give you those feelings of, hey, just go wander about the neighborhood, just walk around, and out of nowhere you're just walking around, and exactly that thing that you were looking for just appears in front of you. So I wish I could elaborate more about this, but honestly, my time here has already been passed for a while. Thank you for being in here with me so far. I apologize if there was any mistakes with camera or microphone, because sometimes this has been happening. Um, Remember that your heart is your radar. Remember that you are the only your spirit is the only guider you need for yourself. I'm not in here trying to be your guider. I'm remembering that you are your guider. And remember that, because when you have those feelings, you're going to need to trust yourself. It's just that. Just trust yourself. You have so many times figured out so many complicated situations. You're going to figure out this one as well. I believe you. I trust you. I know your inner power. You are going to find your way, okay? So, thank you for being in here with me so far. I hope you have the loveliest of weeks, and that everything goes accordingly to lead to where your spirit and your heart desire to be. Thank you, Love and Moon Boutique. Thank you, Always Spirituality, for creating Love and Moon Boutique and bringing Evan to my path and bringing everyone to Evan's path. Thank you so much for this healing space, this unlimited chat of unlimited meaning that can make us have hope. Bright thoughts can make us feel full of insights that feeds us with a lot of hope towards our path. And thank you for bringing so much hope and so many good things all at once. It's healing, it's hope, it's faith, it's love, it's friendship, it's all that is the best. Okay. And if you're liking this, remember to give us your likes and share it with your friends. Also, subscribe yourself to the channel so you can know more topics about this and we can build this chat together. You can always leave your questions, you can always bring some of your feedbacks. Let's build this chat together in order for us to really grow together, the path of our growth together. Yes, that is it. So thank you so much. Have a lovely day. Kisses in your heart. Bye bye.